handsome boy, tall wala. Nobody is ugly, everybody is handsome.
Hello sir. Sir, could you please? Sorry. Sir, could you please explain the term geo strategy as well as geoeconomy?
Let me take two questions and I will answer both.
Yeah. Girl, एक लड़की पूछो.
Hello sir. What kind of jobs should India increase? Means physical based jobs or mental based? Because from few years it can be seen that jobs in BPOs and KPOs are increasing and there are vacancies, but the people are not available up to that extent or that qualification is not obtained by over there. So what should India increase in the field of jobs?
Both are very good questions. What has happened is that the idea of geo-economic is that world is in competition with, in terms of resources, in terms of influence, in terms of markets, and in terms of the technologies and investments. So what we need to do is to understand what are our core interests. We import 70% of our energy needs. We need to diversify energy, we need to secure existing energy. So it becomes obvious which are the countries that we got to have the kind of relationship that we need, which is basically strategic, where there is give and take in world. We get something, they get something. So we got to be expert at negotiating. But notice that as we are doing that, our adversaries are going to create problems for us. Now I'll give you an example. I have been involved in this particular effort by India on trying to add to our integration with the rest of Asia. So what happened is that rest of Asia has not been willing to even admit that India is part of Asia. So China, for obvious reasons, would like to develop relations which are ASEAN, which is Association of Southeast Asian Nations, 10 countries of Southeast Asia, plus Japan, Korea, and China. And we have been writing, we have been doing things. The government of India has pursued lookist policy since 1991, lookist towards the rest of Asia, in order to integrate us with the rest of Asia, because that is an important market, an important source of energy needs, raw materials for us. And our companies need to invest there. They need to have an environment and official relations which are conducive to that kind of deep linkages. Now, we have been, China and some other countries, including Malaysia and so on, have been every turn trying to thwart us. So there is a constant battle that we are waging with them to have another organization called East Asian Summit, EAS, where there are 16 members, so ASEAN 10 plus China, Korea, Japan, plus India, Australia and New Zealand. So we are trying to see that EAS becomes the focal point for Asia rather than ASEAN plus 3 that freezes us out. By the same token, China and its proxies like Malaysia are trying to keep us out of there. Now that's geostrategy. So we need to now think of what are the ways in which more generous with Singapore in terms of our CECA, the Comprehensive Economic Cooperation Agreement that India and Singapore have signed. But when the PMO office, their argument was that we need to do that because Singapore has been helpful to us in this particular aspect, and we have been able to integrate with rest of Asia a lot. Now, you can, I'll just again give you a personal example. Aditya Birla Group has got mining assets in Indonesia. Indonesia is not the easiest country to do business with. So what they have done is to set up a holding company in Singapore that combines all their mining assets in Indonesia. I'm on the board. So the idea then is that you try to have the kind of interdependence among the countries between India and the key countries that we want. Indonesia is a key country for us, even though in UN they've always voted against us. But you don't, you have to be very technical, very nuanced. It is not either or. You cooperate in some, you compete in others, you try to do it. Now that sort of a mindset doesn't come to Indians very properly. So either you are for it, you are against it. You don't say 70% agreement છે તો ચાલો એના ઉપર કામ કરીએ આના ઉપર પછી કરશું 30% નથી તો કઈ વાંધો નહીં પછી થઈ જશે. So what we are trying to do is to develop the mindset among our bureaucrats. Now some of our bureaucrats are very they have been extremely far-sighted in some of the things that India is doing around the world. So this is, now we are doing it with Qatar. We just signed PM just signed an agreement on the security with Qatar. So again, this is part of geostrategy, but we don't have any schools here, or we don't have people, these are the ex-bureaucrats who just go there, who write, and a lot of time it is infighting between different agencies, and we don't have an expert who can go around the world, in different parts of the world, different experts who fully specialize in that country to see where are India's core interests. Okay, I hope, sorry, I can go on, but because I've been involved in some of the efforts we have been making. Okay? Your second question on jobs. The jobs, by the way, Google karo tame, geo-economy, okay? And you will see many things. What type of jobs? See, one of the fundamental mistakes that many policymakers make is to think that they can foresee what type of jobs will be needed in the future. How many had seen the boom in BPO and KPO? And that came about completely accidentally. What had happened was that in the 1990s, in the United States, there was a huge overinvestment in technology, say, in telecom sector. And that went bust in 2000. But as a result of that overinvestment, for the first time, the per unit cost of sending information, vast amounts of data and information across large distances went down. So think about what you were paying for long distance call to call America in 1985 or 1990 and what you are paying now. How much the costs have gone down. Now that meant that earlier you had manufacturing which was outsourced. Now you had services that were outsourced. And we happen to have the kind of manpower and other requirements ready by accident and no government regulation. The government had not foreseen that particular industry at the time, and our entrepreneurs took advantage. So constantly we have been telling the government officials that please, all you do is do economic and strategic diplomacy that allows Indians opportunities to do business, to work,